UFC 272 has a new look. UFC 273 has a new look. I break that down right here, right now. This is your boy JG. Exaggeration and experience. All things MMA. Let's go.
Because every time after he has a fight, you see he has a Kleenex and he's crying, "Oh, I didn't accomplish my dreams. 25 minutes paid in full. I deserve this. I'm Louisiana swamp trash." So,
like I said before, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy JG, Exaggeration and Experience. Please take the time, if you haven't, like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Let's get right into it. So we know that Max Holloway had to pull out against Alexander Volkanovski in their trilogy bout set for UFC 272 Saturday, March 5th. In the meantime, I put out some videos talking about speculation about who could be next for Volkanovski. Do they push the fight? Do they wait for Max? What happens? Well, they've made a decision, the UFC has. They have selected the Korean Zombie. I believe he was number 4 on the rankings. I understand that Calvin Kattar's tied up, Chikanze's tied up, and no one wanted. They made the decision not to pull someone down from the division or up into the division to challenge for the 145-pound belt. Then they took the fight from 272, moved it to 273. Aljamain Sterling, Petr Yan, also on a delay. That fight, could have been elevated in 272. They said nah. They take that fight, they move it over to 273. So your main event and your co-main event for UFC 272 is now your main event and co-main event for UFC 273. So now 273, that's Saturday, April 9th. That card's looking crazy. Going back to UFC 272, what's going to be the headliner? What's the main event for that bout? It's not signed. It's not a done deal. If you go check it out on the UFC website, it'll say TBD. If you look on the wiki, it will have some names there for you. Those names will be Jorge Masvidal, looks to challenge against longtime rival V Covington. And that's an incredible fight for that card. And they need a fight like that because when you lose a co-main in a main event like that, obviously that card takes a hit and it's a pay-per-view event. And shout out to the rest of the combatants on the lineup for the announced bouts, but nobody's checking for that for the pay-per-view price. Shout out to y'all though. So if you can get the deal done between Covington and Masvidal for UFC 272, you save that card and it's gold. Now, something needs to happen within the next, in my opinion, 2 to 3 days, because at that point in time, it'll be January 13th, 14th, and the fight is scheduled for Saturday, March 9th. So we have the rest of January and February. Doesn't make for a long camp. And I think both these fighters stay in pretty good shape, so it might not be an issue. But if I'm one of the combatants and there's a deal close, let's get this done. Let's get it hammered out. Let's get the money right, splits right, pay-per-view back in if that's on the table, so I can get in the camp and start preparing for this particular opponent. Moving over to UFC 273. Like I said before, they get 272's main and co-main event. The rest of the card looks crazy. As I mentioned before, Max Holloway had to pull out, undisclosed injury. New dance partner for Alexander Volkanovski, your current 145-pound champion, is the Korean Zombie. This is still your main event, despite the fact that Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan look to unify the 135-pound title on the same card. Now, my opinion on this, shout out to the Korean Zombie, and I might be hating a little bit, I gotta be honest about that. My opinion on this, shout out to Alexander Volkanovski, champion. He's defended his belt now twice. This is his 3rd title defense, I believe. I believe on this particular card, there is more buzz and notoriety and clamor surrounding the Aljamain Sterling fight and with Petr Yan than the main event. Now, I understand you had the main event with Max Holloway, who's one of the biggest names, biggest draws in the sport. But Max Holloway's not on this card anymore. And shout out to Max. And they might end up switching this up, but I would look at Volkanovski and say, man, we love you, G. You definitely doing your thing. You look great. We're not gonna do the numbers, so you gotta be the co-main. That's how I do it, because cats are really checking for that fight. Now, Korean Zombie, I know, has a big ass following. He definitely does things. I've seen him fight in person. I just don't know if it has the buzz, the appeal that co-main event has. I've already broken down. I haven't broken down Volkanovski, Korean Zombie. I'll probably just do it right here. But I have broken down Aljamain Sterling, Petr Yan. My assessment hasn't changed from 2 or 3 days ago. Shout out to Aljamain Sterling. I know he's put in the work. He's back from injury. He looks to be in crazy shape right now. But Yan is not real. And this dude will walk towards you for 2.5 rounds and get punched all upside his guard and then just take you apart. And I haven't seen any evidence to suggest that anybody can really get down with him like that. I mean, even since the DQ loss that he suffered to you, he's gone out there and he's punished people. So shout out to my man. Korean Zombie, Alexander Volkanovski. Korean Zombie is got great power for the division. He's a little stiff, but he has a lot of tricks. Volkanovski can keep being hurt. He was hurt against Brian Ortega, hurt against Max Holloway, hurt against Chad Mendez. Those are the ones I can just remember. He can be hurt, and Korean Zombie does have pop. I think the gas tank, the physicality, the pressure, the quality pressure that Volkanovski can apply can be effective in this fight. And for right now, I have a hard time picking against Alexander Volkanovski against the Korean Zombie. I think that it's a tremendous opportunity for the Korean Zombie. Alexander Volkanovski, he's been getting better. He looked cool in the second Max fight. I actually had him losing. Then he came out and he fought Brian Ortega, and he looked just in ridiculous shape. Now, he did get tagged, but I think he's still acclimating to the 145-pound division and is still finding his footing despite having 2 victories, so to speak, over I just keep hating on him. He had 2 victories over Max Holloway, a victory over Aldo, a victory over Mendez, like I mentioned before. He's fought dudes, he's put in work. Brian Ortega. But Korean Zombie, who also, he had the fight against Brian Ortega, I believe. Brian Ortega came out on top in that bout. Yeah, I think that's an easy one. I lean towards Alexander Volkanovski. He can win in more ways than Korean Zombie can win, just based on their skill sets in their fight. Korean Zombie's well-rounded, but I just feel like the pressure and the wrestling physicality can stifle some of that out. But what I would say is this. If anybody gets knocked out in this fight or hurt real bad, it'll be Volkanovski. Korean Zombie can win in that manner. I'm not picking him to win in that manner, but if he gets it done, it will be by some sort of one punch or knee, something like that, a knockout. Shout out to both those combatants. But I'm going to cut it on this video. I just want to give a quick update for those bouts moving, UFC 272, UFC 273. I'm going to come back and do detailed breakdowns on the fights. Not Jan and Sterling. Sterling's going to lose. But talk about Volkanovski, Korean Zombie a little bit more. And then what a fight between V Covington and Masvidal looks like. But let me know your thoughts on the upcoming bouts in the comment section. Like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. We out.